Hello Legacy students, today we're going to look at solve by factoring. What you're going to want to have on you today, you're going to want to have your notes, a pen or a pencil, and then also a calculator. So what you need to be able to do today, we're basically going to solve by using factoring. So we're going to take it one more baby step forward. The zero product property is basically what we're going to use. In words, if the product of two expressions is 0, then one or both of the expressions is equal to 0. Here's basically what I mean. If a and b are, let's say, expressions like 3x plus 2, and I multiply a and b and it equals 0, then a has to equal 0 or b has to equal 0. Here's what we're going to basically get. If we factor something and we get, let's say, x plus 5 and x plus 2, and that equals to 0, then we know that x plus 5 equals 0 or x plus 2 has to equal 0. Because if I multiply by 0, you get 0, right? So that means either x is negative 5 or x can be negative 2. So we're going to use this property to help us solve quadratics that can factor for us. Here's my very first one. I have x squared plus 9x plus 14 equals 0. Factor first, kind of like what we've been doing. So I need to find the AC first because it's trinomial, right? So 1 times 14 is 14. So now let's multiply. What numbers multiply to give me 14 but add together to give me 9? Well, 1 and 14 is going to multiply to give me 14. 14 and 1, 2 and 7. 2 times 7 is 14, but 2 plus 7 is 9, right? So that works perfectly. So let's rewrite our middle term. So I have x squared plus 2x plus 7x plus 14 equals 0. Now let's factor. So we're going to put our box here. I'm going to get x squared, 2x, 7x, and 14. So common factor of these two terms, it looks like it just has an x in common because there's no number, right? These two numbers just have a x in common as well. So x times what is going to give me 7x? Well, that's 7, right? And 7 times what's going to give me 14, which is 2, right? And then 2 times x is going to give me 2x. So my two factors are x plus 2 and x plus 7. Now, let's set each factor equal to 0 and then solve for them. So basically, I'm going to take this piece, set it equal to 0, and then I'm going to take the x plus 7 piece and set it equal to 0. Let's solve. Subtract 2. So x equals negative 2. Subtract 7. X equals negative 7. Those are my two answers for this particular problem. Let's try another one. So I got to factor this one completely. I have 4x squared plus 22x plus 10 equals 0. I notice they're all even numbers, so I bet there's a GCF that can come out. So let's take a 2 out of everybody. So I'll get 2x squared plus 11x plus 5 equals 0, right? Now let's factor this inside part. The 2 just basically forget about it, it's just got to come along for the ride. So 2 times 5 is 10. Now 10 times, I need numbers that multiply to give me 10, but add together to give me 11, which I know is 10 and 1, right? Those add up to give me 11. So let's rewrite that middle term. There we go. And then let's box. So I'm going to draw over here. Whoop, my box is a little wiggly. That's okay. So I got 2x squared, 10x, 1x, and 5. Common factor of these two, it looks like a 2 and an x. Common factor of these is just x. X times 1 will give me 1x, and 1 times 5 will give me 5. So my factors are 2x plus 1, x plus 5. There we go. Now, let's set each factor equal to 0. So I get 2 equals 0, 2x plus 1 equals 0, and x plus 5 equals 0. Notice, 2 can't equal 0. Don't care about that one. That one doesn't work. What about this one? So I gotta subtract 1. Divide by 2. I get x equals negative 1/2. So that's 1 done. Subtract 5. X equals negative 5. So my two answers are negative 1/2 and negative 5. Let's try one more. So I got 9x minus 8 equals x squared. Now, you need to be in standard form, aka you need to be x squared, x, and then no x. So let's get so that everybody's to the same side and we're equal to 0. I'm going to subtract 9x and add 8. So I'm going to get 0 on that side. X squared minus 9x plus 8. Now, I can actually factor that. So, looks like my AC is 8. Two numbers that multiply to give me 8, but add to 9. 2 and 4, that gives me 6. 1 and 8, but that's a positive 9. What if I make them both negative? That's still positive, right, when I multiply? So, I can go x squared minus 1x minus 8x plus 8. Let me box that quick. X squared, negative 1x, negative 8x, and a positive 8. Common factor of my first row looks like it's x. Common factor of these guys looks like it's x. X times negative 1 gives me negative 1x. And negative 1 times negative 8 gives me a positive 8. So, rewrite here. Write my outsides. So it looks like x minus 1 can equal 0, or x minus 8 can equal 0. Solve for that. I'll get x equals 1, or x equals 8. And that's the end of this video. See you later, Sabers.